Welcome back. We've just got another job coming into the shop. This is an air dehumidifier, and apparently it doesn't work anymore. I'll have a look into it. It doesn't power on, so maybe an easy fix, maybe not. We'll see. It's made by Logik, which is I think it's Turkish made. Got a fridge from the same company. I think it's Curry's own brand, I don't know. We'll have a look inside. What's wrong? Well, not much in it. We checked continuity from the plug to the power supply. Cable seems to be okay, but I can see some corrosion here on the board that may cause us some issues here. Next we check the power supply, if there is anything coming out. There's a beeper here. I wonder where the compressor wires are. Can't see them really. There's a cable coming from the compressor. Don't know where that goes. Anyway, yeah, power it up and check if the power supply works. Well, first we check if you got voltage here, mains. These are just capacitors, probably run capacitors for the fan and for the compressor. Don't know how old it is, but it's got R134.8 in, so it's not super old. Yeah, let's power it up and see what it does. It's pretty easy actually to get it off. There's some hidden screws, 2 at the top, 2 in the middle on the back, and 2 at the very bottom underneath, so then it comes apart. It's pretty plasticish, but that's what it is. Well, it looks we have no power, because this is some sort of processor, either a PIC or Atmel processor, and where the cap is the power supply, and there's no voltage at all. I'm suspecting the power supply is dead, because the common illness of these devices is they plugged in, the power supply is permanently on, and even if it's turned off, the power supply is all running all the time, and yeah, it may get hot, or capacitors have a lifetime, things like that. The most likely candidate is actually the power supply. So let's take that out and have a look. So I think we found it. I don't know if that's visible here. There's some parts of that device missing here, and the remains are here. It was under that, you had to take the board out, otherwise you can't twist these lugs to get it off. I think this is, well, that's the optocoupler, but this one is, I need to check because I can't read it anymore. It's some switching power supply circuit, probably something pretty standard. We might be able to find that. We probably have a shortened cap, or one of our problems is that corrosion here, that it shorted the 5 volts out and then it went pop. Something like that. Yeah, we need to investigate what device it is. It's some standard switching power thingy. We'll see what we can do. At least it's not a quick fix. Will take me a couple of days to do that. Got other things to do. I thought I just thought I'd have a quick look, so you can have it for the weekend, but no, it doesn't look like that. Let's see if we can read what's on that, what's on the remains of that chip here. Unfortunately, I can't read it with magnifying glass. It popped the cap off, so it was, yeah, it was pretty hot. There's even the leg burned off, I think. Maybe not, I don't know. Yeah, it saw at least some significant current. Alright, let's check what we can do here. Yeah, with a bit of guessing, because I could read the NK and 3. It's an LNK364. It's a low power online switcher integrated circuit. I don't have these, but we can buy them and fix it. So that comes from the rectifier, and apparently this is that's the device, that's the optocoupler. So we have a short either on the diode or one of these zeros, I don't know. We need to check that first, and yeah, pretty simple circuit actually. So that's actually the power circuit. Looks like a MOSFET or so. Whatever. Let's see what the application note says here. That's the whole thing here. Pretty simple actually. Yeah, and I thought there was a pin missing, but there isn't. It's actually a 7-pin package. Okay, I think we got the right device. We just need to order one. So we're back in the electronics lab on that stuff here. We just got a delivery because we were running out of capacitors, so we topped up our stock. We also got the switching regulated chips for this power supply here. That's actually from a dehumidifier, a power supply, and the output chip or the output transistor or a switching transistor has actually exploded. So we're gonna fix that soon. So we pulled it out and we prepared a socket. If you use the cheaper socket, not the precision ones, you can pull the pin because there are only 7 holes. This device has only 7 pins. There's one missing. Actually, this one is missing. It's a bit dirty, I need to clean it, but there is no hole. So you just grab it here and pull it out, and then it's out. So we're gonna solder a socket just in case it pops again. I checked all the diodes, capacitors, everything looks good to me. So I still don't know why it has died. We'll find out. Probably heat. So, and that's how these little buggers look like. Oh, look, there's really a pin missing. Never noticed that on this. Now let's fix it. And then crank it up very slowly with the variac and see what happens. I couldn't find any other faulty components, so hopefully that's it. Well, we set up with the variac. It just happens that a Euro plug exactly fits into my variac here. We'll crank it up slowly. 50, 100 volts. Let me measure what the DC voltage is. I need 2 hands for that. Well, I think it's a multi-voltage power supply. I'm actually running at about 120 volts at the moment, just to make sure nothing is... I'm measuring 13 volts on the 12 volt side, which is okay with no load. That's what we get on the 12 volt end. We're gonna check the temperature in a minute. It doesn't make pop, but I don't want to touch anything because it's all mains voltage here. Let me check the 5 volts if they're any good, and then we'll see. Well, I'm measuring 5.3 on the 5 volt business end. So we leave it running for a few minutes and see how the temperature looks like. If the temperature is good, we crank it up to 230 volts because that's our mains voltage here. Right. Yeah, do not do this at home. It's a very dangerous setup. Electricity can kill you. Right, I'll wait a few minutes and see what happens. That's how it looks with the infrared camera. Battery is low. I think it was visible. Yeah, battery is pretty low on the infrared camera. Get rid of that glare here. That's how it looks like. So we have in the middle here we got some heat. I need to charge the camera. I didn't use it for a while and it was pretty empty, but it looks okay so far. That's I can't feel any excessive heat. So let's crank it up to 230 volts. Okay, so that's 230 now. There you go. Alright. It seems doing alright. Let's check the output voltage and if it's good. We'll fit it to the unit and see how it works. Or what else is wrong on the unit. Maybe there's a short on the 5 or 12. We'll find out. Shame that the infrared camera doesn't work. I need to charge that thing. So I put the camera on the charger. Hopefully it's visible without glare. We can see the hot area is where the transformer on the switching IC is. I'm going to turn it around and look at the top side as well. So that's how the top end looks like. We can see there is some heat. What's that? We can see the transformer, the capacitor, the two capacitors, the transformer. What else can we see here? Sorry, I'm hand-holding everything here. The top capacitors are cold. What's that hot spot here? Right in the middle. We are hot in this area. Probably that resistor is causing some heat as well. The transformer is cold, which is good. So I think we're happy. We have it on nominal mains voltage. Leave it there for a while and see what happens. If everything looks good, we'll fit it. I can't feel any heat. That was probably about 30 degrees. That yellow bright spots is not really hot. Okay, looks good to me. Let's fit it. So since we now fixed the power supply of that one, we're gonna put it back into the unit and see how it behaves. Hopefully it doesn't explode straight away. We'll see. Now let's take the cover off and fix it. Lots of nuts and bolts to get it back together, but yeah, should be alright. Sorry for the glare, the light. People are complaining about light. Now I have a lot of light and I got a lot of glare. It's always the same. Anyway, let's do that. So we got it back together. Yeah, we had to fit the cover on the power supply. We cleaned there was some tarnishing here. I think the unit has seen some water at some point, because if you look in the inside of the cover, there's some water spray around. So we give that a little bit of a wipe before we put it back together. We wired everything back up and fire it up and see what happens. So we got a torch ready, just in case the light goes off. Well, it seems to work. Sounds very Chinese. Flap motor works. So that's all good. We give that a bit of a wipe inside, because there was some moisture inside. Technically it's a pretty simple unit. It's a fridge or an aircon which cools down the air so the water falls out, because colder air cannot hold that much water, and then the energy is basically reclaimed to heat the air back up, and so dry air comes out here, cold air goes, or moist air goes in there. That's the principle. That's the reason why you got water dripping out on your aircon on the car, because cold air cannot hold that much water, so the water falls out, and that's the principle here, except that they reclaim the energy to heat the air back up when the whole thing is running. because that's the principle, getting the humidity out of the air. So I wonder why the compressor doesn't work. I need to... You can't hear the compressor working. Let's try that. Here it comes. Now the compressor comes in. I checked, I set it to 40% humidity. And now the compressor is working. We should feel a change. Let me get that cover away here. So it's a bit dark, but we should feel a change in temperature here. Providing there's still refrigerant in it. May take a bit because the thing has not much power. Yeah, but apparently it does do something. Power supply doesn't get really hot, so let that run for a minute or two. We'll leave it running for 10-15 minutes and we'll see. So apparently it works. We leave it running for a couple of hours. Put it into the house. We got some white spots and just put it there and see what it does. That was the Logik dehumidifier. Nothing more to say. Give it back to the customer and hopefully he's happy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Until next time.